This issue of labour in the regions, if not managed carefully, could snuff out a resurgence in home prices, in population growth and also in economic activity, as David Littleproud was just saying. Well, Steph Nash reports good crops and the reintroduction of tourism is reinvigorating many areas, but it's a delicate recovery.
Australia's regional cities are unique, home to some of the most iconic aspects of the Australian way of life. It's also an economic powerhouse. The overall level of regional contribution to GDP is more than $500 billion, roughly a third of the nation's output. A good example, in 2020, 27% of new businesses were started in regional Australia. And those numbers are set to grow, with more Australians and new Australians making it their home. The Commonwealth Bank's index that tracks net migration to regional areas shows an increase of more than 30% in the September quarter. It's the biggest bounce in 3 years. In the year to September, almost 40% of people who moved out of our cities travelled to regional New South Wales. That figure is up 26% on the prior period.
And what we can see there is continued and material uplift in terms of the level of net migration from the cities to the region. So that's promising in terms of the investment of people in those communities. Equally, the jobs economy in the regions is very strong. We're seeing very low unemployment and a wide array of job opportunities across a range of sectors.
Paul Fowler, the Commonwealth Bank's Executive General Manager of Regional and Agribusiness Banking, says recent record crop production has given the agricultural sector a boost, but now he expects growth in the regional tourism industry.
We've seen international borders well and truly open up and the flow back of our international visitors, but also strengthening in terms of domestic travel volumes. And so for tourism businesses around the country and around our beautiful regions, we're seeing that as a really positive sign of opportunity and prosperity.
With families facing significant cost of living challenges and with the Aussie dollar historically low, many families are still holidaying in their own backyard. It's a trend likely to continue as higher interest rates take their toll on family budgets early next year. Someone watching this pattern is Margie Osmond, CEO of the Tourism and Transport Forum.
I think there's no doubt that cost of living issues have led to a bit more of a resurgence in domestic tourism and different places too. I think what we're going to see is a pretty strong marketplace over the summer holidays here in Australia. 75% of people in the latest survey said they are taking a holiday, and the vast proportion of those are holidaying here in Australia, and 36% of them have said they're holidaying in their own state.
Summer's a very exciting time for us on the South Coast.
Libby Cupit, manager of Cupit's Estate Winery on the New South Wales South Coast, has seen surging numbers of domestic tourists in the past few years. It's led her and the team on a rapid expansion process, with the cellar door also home to a high-end restaurant, a brewery and luxury accommodation.
So the South Coast booms in the summer. It's, a lot of operators here. It's when we sort of make all the revenue that sort of carries us over for the whole year. So we look forward to summer. We really ramp up, get lots of staff onboarded, ready to give the guests a great experience. We, have had a fairly good run of people coming and visiting regional areas for a while now, and we'd love to keep that momentum up.
But dealing with surging visitor numbers has its challenges. Staff shortages are still causing problems for tourism operators. It's hoped that around these parts, the increase in domestic migration to the region may help alleviate the issue.
We're seeing businesses have to respond to that increase in volume in terms of expanding their own capacity and ability to absorb that increased customer flow. Labour's a real challenge across many aspects of the economy. It'd be true for a number of tourism operators to make sure that they can attract the right employee base to be able to service a growing business, and so that's a really important element of their continued prosperity.
Look, it is to a degree still going to be issues around staffing and housing for staffing. So if you're going to have backpackers or part-time workers, you need some accommodation for them.
The federal government's proposed changes to the migration system is set to slow the number of migrant workers and international students entering Australia. Under the changes, there will be 3 pathways for a 4-year skills in demand visa. one for specialist skills, one for core skills, and one for essential skills, which has a labour shortage focus.
I think we're just going to have to look very carefully at the change in numbers for international students and the impact of the new migration changes on backpackers to see whether it's going to have a bit of a staffing impact there as well.
Meanwhile, Cupids is leaning on the local youth workforce to sustain the business during peak summer season. They've implemented a gap year program, taking on young people fresh out of school to give them a taste of the hospitality sector.
We invited high school students that were in their leaving year to apply, and they could come and experience all the many facets of Cupids in 1 year. So they walk away with a good understanding of hospitality and tourism and production, but also we teamed it up with some TAFE credentials, so they have some sort of formal qualifications as well.
It's been a large project to continue to expand the business to keep up with the surging levels of demand. Libby says she's worked closely with her bank to help make her growth plans a reality.
Commonwealth Bank have been our banking partner for the last few years, and we, without them, we wouldn't have been able to do all these amazing developments. So we did the accommodation project, which was 10 unique private villas for people to stay. But we also upgraded our car park, our kitchen, lots of our back of house areas that we'd outgrown over the years because of the increased visitation. So without that relationship, without that loan, we wouldn't have been able to do it.
You've got a wonderful country with incredible beauties in the regions, and to be able to attract customers or to potential customers for those tourism businesses into those regions and really show them a broad array of opportunities that it's hard to find anywhere else in the world. Privileged day in, day out to hear from all of our customers the steps and the aspirations they're taking. Cupids is an excellent example, an idea that was formed up 15 or 16 years ago, that's continued to grow, expand its business, build out in terms of the winery to a restaurant, the restaurant to a brewery, the brewery to accommodation, to really be a multifaceted and diverse tourism operator.